Namaste, witchlings! How are we tonight? As you can see, my locale has changed. I found someplace comfy and safe and secure that has Wi Fi. So, we are coming to you live from my. My business mentor's office. This is where I do my weekly tarot readings. And if you want and you get in touch with me 24 hours or more in advance, we can do a one on one yoga session here as well. So, welcome to another episode of Die the Yoga Witch podcast. I am Di, your absolute favorite yoga witch, and we are here today. Excuse me, Dr. Pepper talks back. We are here today to take a deep dive into a topic, a very serious topic, that calls for introspection and some honest conversation: the whitewashing and cultural appropriation of yoga in the Western world. This is a journey that requires us to unroll our mats and explore the intricate layers of history, philosophy, and cultural impact that have shaped yoga's evolution. It's about acknowledging uncomfortable truths, honoring the roots of this ancient practice, and ultimately reclaiming its sacred essence. Let's begin by traveling back in time, much like Marty McFly and Doc, thousands of years ago to the birthplace of yoga, ancient India. Imagine a time of profound spiritual seeking where sages and seers delved into the mysteries of consciousness and the universe. Yoga emerged from this fertile ground not as a mere physical exercise, but as a comprehensive path towards self realization and liberation. At the heart of this path lies the wisdom of the sage Patanjali, who codified the 8 limbs of yoga in the Yoga Sutras. These limbs are not sequential steps, but interconnected practices that weave together to create a holistic approach to life. They offer a roadmap for navigating the inner and outer landscapes of our existence. Let's explore these limbs again, because we have covered them before on the podcast and in the blog, one by one, feeling their resonance within our own beings. Starting off, we have the yamas, the ethical restraints that guide our interactions with the world. They call us to embrace nonviolence in ahimsa, truthfulness in satya, non-stealing in asteya, abstinence in brahmacharya, and non-possessiveness in aparigraha. I want to bounce back though to brahmacharya and the abstinence. This does not, especially in modern world, refer to abstaining from sexual activity, but abstaining from overindulgence. So let's pause for a moment to reflect on some of this. How can we embody these principles in our daily lives? How can we extend compassion and respect to all beings, act with integrity, and cultivate a sense of contentment with what we currently have? Then we have the second limb, which is the niyamas. These are the observances that guide our relationship with ourselves. They invite us to practice purity in saucha, contentment in santosha, austerity in tapas, self-study in svadhyaya, and surrender in ishvara pranadhana. So, pausing to reflect on this, how can we purify our bodies, our minds, and our spirits? How can we cultivate inner peace and acceptance? How can we deepen our understanding of ourselves and connect with a higher power, if you believe in one? Third, I'm going to emphasize this is the third limb of Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga, we come to the asana, the physical postures that are most often associated with yoga in Western civilization today. However, traditionally, asana was used to prepare the body for the deeper practices of meditation and spiritual contemplation. So, how can we now move our bodies with awareness and intention? How can we use asana to cultivate strength, flexibility, and balance, not just in our physical bodies, but also in our minds and our emotions? Then we have the fourth limb of pranayama. This is the practice of breath control, harnessing the vital life force energy, prana, through conscious breathing techniques. So now we're going to take just a moment and focus on our breath. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. And the expansion and contraction of your belly as you breathe. And how can we use our breath to calm the mind, to regulate our emotions, and to connect with our inner vitality? Oh, there are so many pranayama techniques. One moment. That's what I thought. Ah! Oops. My screen shut off. Sorry about that, everybody. So there are many different pranayama techniques that we can use for these purposes. There are four square breathing, which is wonderful for calming anxiety. 4-7-8 breathing, which is in for 4, hold 7, exhale for 8, to help relax and drift off to sleep, and more, which I will discuss in further podcasts. Next, we have Pratyahara, the withdrawal of senses and the turning of our attention inward and minimizing external distractions. In today's modern world, we are constantly bombarded with stimuli. How can we create space for stillness and silence? How can we cultivate the ability to turn inward and observe our thoughts and our emotions without judgment? That's the important part, without judging. Sixth, we have dharana, which is concentration and the focusing of the mind on a single point. So now we're going to bring our attention to the space between our eyebrows, our third eye. Can you hold your focus on your third eye, even just for 3-4 seconds? How can we cultivate greater concentration in our daily lives? Our seventh limb is dhyana, which is meditation and sustained focus and contemplation, which allows the mind to become still and clear. Our next exercise, we're going to close our eyes and just observe the flow of our thoughts. We're not judging any of them. We are not thinking, well, which kind of defeats the purpose of just kind of allowing the thoughts. We're not thinking, I shouldn't be thinking about this. I should be doing that. Do not should yourself. Just observe your thoughts. Can you find a space of quiet awareness beneath all the mental chatter? How can we deepen our meditation practices? And then the final limb of Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga is samadhi, the ultimate goal of yoga, a state of blissful union with the divine, where the individual self merges with the universal consciousness. So imagine a state of complete peace, harmony, and interconnectedness. This is the state of samadhi, a glimpse of our true nature. So now that we have defined the 8 limbs, as we journey through them, it's important to remember that yoga is not just a personal practice, but it is one that is deeply rooted in the spiritual traditions of India. Yoga's philosophy is interwoven with the teachings of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, each offering unique perspectives on the path, each offering unique perspectives on the path to liberation. I can talk, see? In Hinduism, the concepts of karma and reincarnation inform the ethical principles of yoga. The Bhagavad Gita, a sacred Hindu text, offers profound insights into the nature of dharma, which is duty, karma, action, and moksha, which is liberation. Buddhism, with its emphasis on mindfulness and meditation, resonates with the higher limbs of Patanjali's system. The Buddha himself taught various meditation techniques and ethical principles that align with the yogic path. Then we have Jainism with its, sorry, I thought I skipped a paragraph. Then we have Jainism with its strong focus of nonviolence, ahimsa, and self-discipline, echoing the yamas and the niyamas of yoga. The Jain principles of aparigraha, non-possessiveness, and brahmacharya, abstinence, are also deeply intertwined with the yogic path. However, pause, as yoga traveled west, particularly during the 20th century, a significant transformation occurred. The emphasis shifted away from the spiritual and philosophical core, landing squarely on the physical practice of asana. This shift, coupled with the rise of consumerism, led to the commodification of yoga, often at the expense of its cultural and spiritual roots. Today, we see yoga marketed as a trendy fitness regime, often stripped of its philosophical context and presented through a lens of whitewashed aesthetics. Images of predominantly thin, white, flexible bodies, typically female, dominate yoga studios and marketing campaigns. And these perpetuate seriously unrealistic beauty standards and erase the diverse origins of yoga. Yoga studios, those have become Instagram-worthy spaces with the focus on aesthetics rather than inner transformation. Classes are typically sequenced for physical intensity with little to no mention of the ethical principles or deeper philosophical concepts that form the foundations of yoga. This consumerist approach, it can create a major disconnect between the physical practice and the deeper essence of yoga. It can also lead to a sense of exclusion for those who don't fit the ideal yogi image, perpetuating again harmful stereotypes and cultural appropriation. But, my darling witchlings, do not despair, because it's not too late to reclaim the authenticity of yoga. We have the power to decolonize our practices and engage with it in a way that honors its roots and embraces its transformative potential. So, how do we do that? Well, here are some ways we can embark on this journey of reclamation. First, we deepen our education, go beyond the asana, and delve into the rich history and the philosophies of yoga. Explore ancient texts like the Yoga Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and then seek out teachings from diverse voices, including Indian scholars and practitioners who can offer authentic perspectives. Which is why, if you look at the title of today's episode, it says this is part one. I happen to have a dear friend who is from Mumbai, and he is going to join me on a future episode to take a deeper dive into what he has experienced as yoga in India, as opposed to what I have experienced here in the United States. I am looking forward to that. Another thing we can do is to support diversity and inclusion. Actively seek out yoga studios and teachers who represent a range of backgrounds, body types, and teaching styles. One that comes to mind immediately with this is Jessamine Stanley. She is the founder of The Underbelly. She has been featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine and others. Meditation magazine is one that I happen to own that has her on the cover. She has two books out. One is Yoke, and the other is Everybody Yoga. Yes, I will put links to these books that I am mentioning in the podcast once I have internet access at home. Again, I am so sorry it's not going up today. Then, let's work to create spaces where everybody feels welcome and respected, regardless of their race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or physical abilities. Yoga is literally for everybody. Then, acknowledge the lineage. Before you step onto your mat, take just a quick moment to express some gratitude for the ancient lineage of yoga and the wisdom it offers. Let's honor the generations of yogis and yoginis who have paved this path before us. Then we can also embrace the full spectrum of yoga. Explore the full 8 limbs of yoga, not just the asana. Let's integrate pranayama, meditation, and the yamas and niyamas into our daily lives to cultivate inner peace. I am asthmatic, have been for as long as I can remember. I have used the pranayama exercises to help build my lung power up and, relieve some of the asthma symptoms. Meditation. I live with PTSD. I cannot tell you how much my meditation practice has helped with the anxiety that comes with PTSD. When it comes to the yamas and the niyamas, ask any of my kids who have ridden in the car with me in the last 3 years. I will regularly say, ahimsa dai, ahimsa, non-harming. No, you are not allowed to run the idiot off the road. See, I'm integrating the yamas and niyamas into my life. I'm sorry. You'd have to know me well to understand that particular comment. Then, another way we can do the decolonization, that's the word I'm looking for, consume consciously. There is so much merch on the market today aimed at yoga practitioners. I mean, go to Amazon and just Google, or not Google, but go to Amazon and just search for yoga accessories. You will get pages and pages and pages of results. So what we want to do, apparently I have someone in chat say that I need to say hi to. Hello to my darling ex-husband. So what we want to do with our consumption, we want to be conscious with it and be mindful of the brands that we support and the messages that they promote. We want to choose ethical and sustainable yoga products. And yep, I'm putting my glasses back on. This is annoying. We want to choose ethical and sustainable yoga products that also align with our values. And we want to support businesses that are committed to social and environmental responsibility. Sounds pretty simple, right? Sometimes you have to spend a little bit more money to do the right thing. And doing the right thing is not always the easy thing. We can also find our own yoga. Because while I did say up here, let's see, let me find it. Oh, yoga is more than just, a personal journey. Um, you do still need to find your yoga. There is no one right way to practice yoga. Explore different traditions, find what resonates with your soul, and create a practice that supports your individual needs and your aspirations. Because there are so many different forms of yoga. There is hatha yoga, there's kundalini yoga, there's so much. And there's going to be a yoga path that feels right to you. Yoga is a gift. It is a powerful tool for self discovery, healing, and transformation. Let's honor its rich history, embrace its diverse expressions, and practice with reverence. Jeez Louise, practice with reverence and awareness. Let's move beyond the commodified version of yoga here in the West and reclaim its sacred essence. Because there is so much more to yoga than what we here in the West think of. To wrap up, many of you know that I do a Friday night guided meditation. Some weeks it's meditation, some weeks it's yoga nidra. And that is one thing. Saying yoga nidra. I posted to the socials that, yay, yoga nidra's live in 2 hours, blah, blah, come to yoga nidra. And the next day, I got up to comments on one of my posts about it, where my friend in India said, oh my gosh, you're still here, you're still alive, I'm so happy. And another friend who is here in the States with me started to get angry with him. And I'm like, no, wait, don't do that yet, because I have a feeling I stuck my foot in it. And I said, okay, what did I do? And his response was, well, effectively, you said that the rapture was happening on live camera, because yoga nidra is essentially the rapture. But what you were doing is yoga nidra asana. So that's one of the reasons I am so looking forward to having him join me on the podcast for part 2 of this. And I will let you all know when that is going to happen. I need to schedule with him once Mother Nature decides to be a little bit nicer to us here in the Pacific Northwest. And on that note, my darling witchlings, I will say namaste. Thank you for joining me today. Go out there, spread love, spread joy, spread kindness, because there is already way too much hate and discontent out there for us to need to add to it. And then tell your loved ones that they are important to you and how much they mean to you. You never know when that last opportunity is going to be. And I will tell you all that I love you very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Love you guys. Have a good night.